All right, welcome to the 5th episode of Just Drinking Problems. If you notice, Anna's having a bad hair day today. Actually, that's my brother Turner, and he's come on to be my expert in all things. So, the first thing I want to show you out, or I just want to ask you, we just get out, but I don't want to hide behind any social narrative here, or I don't want things to feel like they're thick between us. Just how long have you been homosexual?
Never. So 0 years, 0 months, 0
Okay,
days.
cool. And this episode has nothing to do with homosexuality. I was just giving him an opportunity to come out of the closet.
Thanks for the offer.
Not really, but so these coasters look awesome, but they don't work that well. So when I do it, I roll it.
Yeah.
Because I've literally, I think last episode I actually threw it on the ground because the condensation made it stick to the bottom. Anyway, we're actually going to have a little bit of gun talk today. And to kick us off, we have a short video from Washington State and them signing a bill to ban the sale of assault weapons. So let's see what these fools got to say. Oh, wait, before we do this, I see your shirt says a lot of stuff. What's that?
I'll put what stuff on your hot stuff?
Nice.
People ask my job description, so I tell them.
Yeah, that's a sexual reference?
No. I'm a firefighter.
Okay.
What stuff on hot stuff?
Show me the back. Because that's a rebelshirts.com shirt.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I'm repping the Just Drinking Problems logo. All right, let's get to this dude.
So we don't have a waiting period necessity for signing a good bill, so I'm signing this bill. Congratulations, everyone. Let's smile for the camera.
Why is it wearing a mask?
Congratulations to everyone in this step forward. We know we have more work to do, but this is a great thing for the state of Washington. Congratulations. These weapons of war, of assault weapons, have no reason.
Okay, sorry, gotta pause it. I didn't get none of his jokes. I don't know why everybody was laughing. Maybe it was like a nervous thing. Maybe they scripted that. Either way, he started out his first sentence here explaining what this bill does with weapons of war and assault weapons.
Yeah,
So
these weapons of war, these assault weapons, or something on those lines. It wasn't proper English, but he's trying to talk.
well, I don't speak proper English. I just the terms themselves would bother me. What? Because when I hear weapons of war or assault weapons, I have an idea that comes to my mind. But I don't think me and him are really on the same page. So what do you think he means by weapons of war? Or what does it mean to you, weapons of war or assault weapons?
A weapon of war would be like a Abrams or like a
Tank,
A-10. Yeah, like a freaking tank or a tank killer. Like that's a weapon of war. Missiles, even like grenades, bombs, big things. Guns are just guns. They shoot a projectile. People associate ARs with assault rifle, which doesn't even stand for that, or machine guns, which they aren't. In the process to get a license to own a real machine gun, it's really difficult and expensive. And then what it costs to shoot a machine gun is really expensive. So most people who don't, or they can because they just have enough money, doesn't matter. But people assume they see these all blacked out polymer weapons and think it's a military grade deadly weapon, which every gun can be deadly, but most people, especially they know what military grade means, would never want to touch it because it's probably crap.
I want civilian grade. I want private company grade. That's what I want.
But I mean, the 1% of the military population, the 1% of the population that is military, understand that. Most of us would think don't feel this way. But yeah, weapons of war. I think of like an A-10 or a jet or a tank or a Bradley, an MRAP, something like that. Like something you don't see in this. You can't just go get it, but you don't see it out and about everywhere. Like what actually when you go to war with, because if you're going to go to war, if me and the town next door are going to go to war, I'm not looking to grab my AR and
No, I mean
go to war with them if I have the option. What?
You keep shaking the table. My microphone going blah, 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 blah.
Sorry.
It's a shitty table. It's not your fault.
I'm not looking to go to war with an AR. Like I'm not like, hey man, I'm going to war. Let me grab my AR. I mean, sure, that's what I have to go to battle with here. Ideally, we'll never have to go to battle here, though.
Yeah.
But you see military people going to war in other countries with vehicles and trucks and big machine guns and
Yeah,
big
like
rockets
freaking
and missiles and air support.
battleships.
Yeah.
And carriers. And I'm thinking Apaches, F-16s, 22s, 35s. I'm thinking surface-to-air missiles. I'm thinking real weapons of war.
Yeah.
The things that we're buying for Ukraine or donating to Ukraine, that's weapons of war. We're not sending Ukraine. Ukraine would flip us off if we send them AR-15s.
They don't even use them for us, don't they? Don't they use some other European crap?
I don't know, but
yeah, they don't want that.
AR-15, you're not going to go to your local pawn shop or Academy or Bass Pro and buy a weapon of war. You're not going to do it.
No.
So I definitely don't agree with weapons of war. I think that's just a trigger term to tell the people who don't have a clue what they're talking about, that gives them something to fear.
Well, sure. It sounds mean. It sounds scary. If I tell you that AR is a weapon of war, I don't want to go to war. That's scary. War's bad, but war is bad. But a AR isn't a weapon of war. It's not even a true M4. Like what you go buy from any of those places you just named isn't even a true M4, which is what you carry in the military. Like that doesn't do the same thing.
You can't buy that unless, like you said, you go through. It is legal right now. If me and you wanted to own an M4 or a machine gun or anything that you're not going to find at your local gun shop, right, or Academy Sports or something like that, you can, if you have enough money and go through the process to get the license, you can purchase it. But most people that you see with a polymer looking rifle, I call it a sporting rifle, is what I think AR and AK and anything you're going to buy on the civilian market, it's a sporting rifle for whatever use you want to do, right? Because there's no reason behind your purchase of a rifle other than your own. So for someone to say you don't need it, then anyway, back to my topic. You're not going to buy weapons of war.
No.
Even if you did go through that process, then it's a very lengthy process that has every background check possible, and they're not going to give you that license just to go buy whatever type of firearm you want, whether it's fully auto or not, right? So we already have gun control. We definitely don't need to ban things and then label those things the wrong terminology just to fearmonger a public into supporting your opinion or agenda. And I think that's exactly what he's doing. And like assault rifle, like that's no such thing. That's a made up term that has no grounds in reality. And a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, that's an AR. Well, that stands for Armalite, like you said. Assault rifle. AR doesn't stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armalite, which is a civilian company that originally came up with the design. So without people understanding what that means, they immediately associate that in their mind, and then it gets buried in this fear-mongering and misinformation, which I'm just going to go ahead and go on a limb. I don't know who Governor Jay is, but I'm going to say he's a Democrat. And that's what
it says D.
Oh, okay.
Washington. So he's governor of Washington, and he is a Democrat.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think I'd be willing to take another big bet and say that none of them ever fired a weapon, much less an AR or an M4 or any whatever you want to call it. But fear mongering, whatever you want to say, that they believe what they've been taught to believe. They believe what's been put in front of them. They believe what's been shown to them or forced down their throat to fear these style weapons. Because even if whatever, how terrible active shooters are and these awful things that are happening, I mean, no one likes that. The biggest thing that comes out of it is the weapon they use. Not even the support of the families. Nothing about, hey, here's what they had to go through. It's shoved down the throat of trying to push gun control. Not, hey, here's a moment of silence for the families. Here's the bad things that happened. Let's support these families. Let's do what we can to help in a time of need, in a bad moment. Instead, it's all the media shoving down the throat of, oh my God, look what AR did. Look what AR did. Which that's a whole different topic of guns don't shoot people. People shoot people. Same thing with cars don't run over people. People using cars run over people. It's a different topic, a different argument. But
no, you're right.
They fear what they're told to fear. They fear what's been pushed down them. They fear what the media puts in front of them. They fear what their TikTok or Instagram or Facebook feed puts in front of them because their algorithm shows them all videos of people talking about the same thing, referring to ARs as military grade, war machines.
Dude, that's a really good point. Because just before we started this episode, I was trying to find some type of video that we could use to jump off our conversation. And my algorithms clearly understand my interest because I was trying to find a video that was like opposing opinion from my own, and all it wanted to show me, even when I perfectly searched for those type of videos using different keywords to try and find it, it kept trying to give me different stuff that were like positive Second Amendment, or people making fun of people that said a message like him. I couldn't just find a video on the left side of things because the algorithm knows what I normally click on. It was trying to sell me that information.
But
So
it learns you, and it also in the long-term goal of YouTube or whatever social media is to make a bunch of money. So they know if they try to force things down your throat that you don't like, you're just not going to use it. So they're going to show you things that they have learned that you like. Same thing with people on the other side of this argument, see the same arguments, how bad these things are, because that's all they look at. The sad part that I still think's kind of funny is even though we have the views of we are pro Second Amendment, we are pro AR, we are pro the ability to choose that, every now and then through these social medias, which just shows their agenda, you still find these videos of how bad this stuff are. Like, I wonder if the other side of it, like these people scrolling through their Instagram, if there's pro Second Amendment ads that pop up, or like ours, you scrolling through and there's still against Second Amendment rights or against Second Amendment things show up in our feed, which just shows me that that's what the social media's platforms push.
yeah,
But
of course.
again, it's a private business. They're going to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
Can't really tell them otherwise.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just wanted to start out with his terminology and how there's no grounds in it. And I think you're right. All the people here, they don't own any of those weapon systems, and they don't understand how they work. And they don't get that terminology or why they're wrong. But you could simply just Google it. So like when I couldn't go through YouTube or TikTok to find a video opposing my clear opinions on this, like the algorithm knows, I had to go to Google to search it to find links back to YouTube or TikTok. So you can say that, sure, these people could educate themselves, but if all they're getting shown without putting any effort is one-sided arguments, then I could see how people can get brainwashed into believing how do you say it? Not a reticle, like a scope. Rhetoric. I can believe rhetoric like that, and it just gets repeated in their eyes over and over and over again from their whatever device they're using to use these platforms. And honestly, I think more people use social media platforms to get exposed to political and social opinions like this than they watch like legacy media like CNN or MSNBC or whatever, you know.
News media are still there because of the older generation still watches news. I mean, how often you walk into a place of, well, I mean, not even really businesses anymore. Most businesses have HGTV or, freaking the twin brothers fixing up houses just because they don't want the political arguments in their waiting rooms. But like that's still an older crowd of watching TV for news. But how often, if you and I are to sit on the couch and watch TV, we're not turning on the TV to watch TV. We're turning on a streaming service to stream a movie we want to watch. If I've got the TV on, it's for a sport, which not everybody watches sports. So if I didn't watch baseball, like I have baseball and softball going right now, football comes around. There's sports that I like to watch. That's why I keep a TV service, but that's the only time I ever see a commercial or ever turn the true TV on. Most of the time it's a streaming service of a movie.
You actually have cable?
I have YouTube TV, so I don't know if anybody has. I mean, I guess some people do have cable, but it's not a very common thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you're younger than me, and I know whenever whenever I went out on my own, I was at that transition period to where I've always had TVs in the house, you know, but I've never paid for a cable service, like actual cable to watch through a digital tuner on your TV, and I've never had a phone line, like a landline. I've never had that.
Yeah, I've had a landline.
I've watched digital content and a cell phone.
Yeah. Which I guess about like people our age and younger especially don't use TVs. They don't watch CNN or Fox or ABC or even the local news. Most people don't see those kind of things. If it wasn't for work, I would never see the local news if it wasn't something that their Facebook or their social media shares.
Yeah.
Because you follow them, or you have the app that gives you the alerts like, hey, there's a wreck on whatever interstate, or be prepared for this storm. Like, I bet the most time that local news gets watched by all ages is when a storm comes through. It's people who are just trying to keep up with the real weather. And even then, they're probably on their phone unless they're scared of killing their battery for a hurricane. Then you got to, the whole fear. What are you going to do? You can't have the old crank up battery.
That's so rare, though.
Yeah,
still.
Right. But I think social media, most people get their information and their news from social medias. Facebook's starting to die out. So I think Instagram and Twitter was a thing. Now I'm not sure what it's got going on, but Instagram, TikTok is huge for all kind of news media. So whatever their algorithm, whatever side they've started to watch for is all the information they're going to see. They're not even going to see both sides of it. It's not even, it gives a chance, unless they go looking for it, they'll never see the other side of the argument. They're only going to see what the things they've continued to watch, the things they've liked, the algorithm that it learns they want to push, which is why everybody on this side of that argument refers to ARs and assault rifles and the weapons of military grade, think it's a good thing. They don't know what they're talking about. They all hear the other guy, the last guy on the TV talking about whatever they banned as this, so they refer to that.
Yeah.
I mean, find somebody.
They get brainwashed in agenda-driven terminology.
Sure,
and they have no way out of it unless they purposely make a conscious decision to look for sources from their opposing ideas.
Yeah, but why would they?
Well, most people don't, right? Because it's so easy.
To.
You just click on the app or open up your phone or hit a notification and boom, there's everything that you already want to see. And they do a really good job at pushing that lefty agenda.
Well, that's why they're that's why they're $1 billion companies. I mean, they push whatever they want to push, and the same people are feeding them money. And all these, for the most part, big cities have the same issues, and they portray that instead of accepting the fact that bad people are doing bad things, they push it off on inanimate things causing these problems. Guns are the issue. Guns are the issue, not the people with the guns, not the people making the decisions to do the bad things. I mean, I'd be willing to bet for the majority of people that the most dangerous thing you'll ever do is get in a car and get on the interstate.
Yeah.
People die every single day all across the country doing that thing. A lot of people will probably even never see a weapon. Like big cities, probably never see a gun in their entire life unless it's on TV, but they're scared of them. They're in fear. They need to be banned. They've never even seen one, touched one, heard one, unless it's on a cop's, side.
Holster on his hip.
Yeah. Right. Like they know nothing about it, but if you ask them, their opinion's going to be, well, they need to be banned. Well, why? Well, because they're bad. They kill people. Cars kill people. Butter knives can kill people. I mean, anything could kill people. So they don't have a real opinion. They have what they've been told and taught their entire life.
No, you're right. You're right. And because I view it, and you can word it in different ways, but I view it as brainwashing.
Yeah.
I don't think they have any reason to set foot in any direction. Maybe it's because of their parents or where they live or their social circles or wherever. I think you get started on that, and then just like my problem, finding opposing opinions through these tech companies' apps, I think they have the same thing. They just get fed this brainwash over and over and over again. And so I decided that I was going to run a little experiment. I did it. So my first 3 episodes, it wasn't there, but I put them up the last episode, and it's also up for this episode. There's 2 guns right there, and if any point in time those things jump off and kill you, well, then I think they're right. They are absolutely 100% right. But if they don't, I'm still going to believe that people kill people, not guns. And should we ban people? No, but we should be tougher on crime, or mental health, or find a solution to the problem, not just banning things and taking away people's rights, especially ones that are given to us by amendment to the Constitution, the only one that says I shall not fringe, or thou shalt not fringe, right? It's just they're idiots, and they sound like idiots. And they use terminology that they made up to make them more of idiots, and it's never going to solve a problem. I get that school shootings and mass shootings and gang warfare in the streets of urban areas, it's all bad, but you can't blame look at that thing. It's not doing nothing wrong. It's just sitting there being sexy as fuck.
It looks scary.
Yeah. I mean, what?
You agree.
I didn't think that you were going to say that. No, I think they're gorgeous, and that's why I enjoy having those, because I love collecting them. There's a lot of history in them and stuff like that. But these people, they just obviously don't agree with my way of thinking at all, but also think they're fundamentally wrong in every way, not just with the problems in our society that relate to guns, but the guns themselves. Like if I asked him, a question about an AR-15, he would have to go and ask an aide or Google it himself, you know? Like they just don't know what the hell they're talking about, yet they have the power to pass these laws and affect everyone within their region that they govern over.
Yeah,
Or in this case, the state of Washington.
well, I mean, Washington's a big city. Seattle
Yeah.
does a lot of crazy things, and I'd be willing to bet that most of Washington State doesn't think the way that they think, but because the city has such a high population and they have been the way our system works is they have the majority vote and they can kind of rule things. Same thing like with New York. But a lot of people from New York, they're nothing like the ones you meet from New York City. The state of New York, a couple I know love to hunt. When I was a hunting guide, like he loves to do that kind of crap, loves weapons, loves to shoot, enjoys shooting for fun. But his state would never vote the way we would vote. He's just born and raised and grew up there out in the country somewhere and never did anything different. Same thing when we went to Southern California. When we got outside of big cities, it's nothing different than it is here. But because the big cities have such a big impact, those states are viewed the way we view them. Like they're so left wing because that's how the big cities are able to go. I mean, look at our state between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. It's going to eventually get that point. Look at Georgia and Atlanta. Like even the southern states, the big cities are starting to have a big push because they're getting so overly populated in the way that they have herded that population. They have pushed that agenda. They're able to do what they want to do.
I agree. I think that's a huge problem that these different regions across the country that force millions of people in such a small area, of course you're going to have more problems there. You got more people, and people are capable of doing wonderful, amazing things. They're also capable of doing a lot of evil things, and when you're so close together and you share everything, you might even live in a building that you share it with hundreds of other people, right? When you push people that close together, you're going to have a spectrum of everything, right? So like the filthy rich to the like filthy poor, and there's so much room for all kinds of negative things to happen, especially crime. And then whenever you develop a mentality like we want to be patient or lenient to people, even if they're molesting kids or shooting people or like crazy shit like that. If you develop that mind frame and start letting people out of prison, or you get overwhelmed with your justice system and you can't process that many people, so you just start letting cases go, or whatever happens, you make this human concrete jungle, and then those people start voting on things. And that's where I think it goes wrong. If you just drive a few miles outside of the border of these cities, these major cities, life's good. You know, people are playing in their front yard. People are going hunting, riding four-wheelers, doing life. They may have livestock. They don't live anything at all. Like they're in a totally different country than the people that live in the cities. And it's clear. You go to any major city, and they're going to be lefties. They're going to vote as lefties majority. And then when you have millions of people there and not as much people surrounding it, even though it's a vastly bigger geographical location outside of those cities, yeah, the whole state starts to turn left. Because there's really good people that think exactly like me and you in California. But you'll never fucking hear them. They don't have a voice. They don't live in a major city.
Nope. Their voting powers severely weakened, but people like that aren't going to go live in a big city. But that's why I think a lot of these folks, they were probably born and raised in Seattle. I'm guessing that's where this is.
Probably.
Lived in a big city their entire life. Don't go like their version of going in outdoors is probably at a local park with a couple dozen trees. But they don't know what it's like to go out. They've probably never been hunting. They've never been like the wildlife to them is the pigeons they see flying around the city. Like I think people like us are raised different. But we're not afraid of a weapon because we've been around them. We've been taught and shown a weapon's just a piece of metal or polymer, depending on what it's made out of. But it's just a thing.
Yep.
I could pick up this microphone and kill somebody. I mean, this thing's heavy as hell. I could beat the shit out of somebody with that thing, and it would really mess somebody up.
Yeah.
Sure, I guess I'm at the distance I can hurt someone with varies when you put a weapon in my hands, but I can do it with a car. I mean, what was the wasn't there something? It was a big city. You ran a truck through a crowd of people, killed a bunch of folks.
Oh, it's happened multiple times, especially overseas.
Right. Well, sure, exactly. But like, you can't ban vehicles because we need them. Everybody uses them. Even they use them. I'm sure there's places probably like New York where you don't drive. A lot of people don't drive. That they would say they don't need cars because in that area they don't. But it's not, I guess, an agenda that's being pushed. They have to do something to earn votes. They have to do something to continue to have the power they have and get the paycheck that that man gets. So he's going to do whatever he needs to do, whatever his political advisors say, hey, man, this is what needs to be pushed. This is what we're feeling. These things are going to help you get revoted back in because he wants to keep the power. He wants to further his political. Everybody wants to further their career in whatever field they're in.
Yeah.
So the best way for him to further that career, the area he's in, is to push this agenda. Because I'd be willing to bet his parents didn't think the way he thought. They weren't raised that time, which I guess goes back to another, what's the big quote? Hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men.
Yep.
Something along those lines. I don't think that's not exactly how
Over
it
and
goes.
over and over again.
Right, but I think at this point we're at where the strong men, our grandparents' age, have created easy times, and these easy times we're having are now creating weak men.
And we're all a bunch of pussies, and some pussies get in power and do shit like that.
Only even look at the older ones. There's a certain one in particular you can think of. You can go back and find old films of his political speeches and his views, and then look at them now. The things they say now.
Oh, yeah.
Totally
That's where that
different.
career comes in.
Well, exactly. They want the power. They want the money. They want to further that career. They want to do whatever they feel, whatever they're being told that, hey, this is the agenda that needs to be pushed. This is what needs to happen for you to get these votes. Sorry.
Starting to hear it.
So like they're going to do whatever they have to do, whatever they feel they need to do to further their career.
Yeah.
But as times change, people change. And like I said, I think hard times, World War II and into that stuff created tough men. Look at me, Grandma and Grandpa and all them. They would never have thought the things we did, said the stuff we did, created easy times, and then these easy times we have now have created weak men. And these weak men, eventually we're going to have tough times, whether it be in our lifetime or our kids' lifetime. And eventually it's going to happen, whether it be what's going on the other side of the country right now. I mean, shoot, the American dollar is a very good chance it may not be world power. Like it may not have a world standard anymore. That kind of stuff can change, which would be a devastation. But I think most people in that area or that view this or think this way don't understand that, don't care about that, because in their head they're going to get up, they're going to get their little card, they're going to walk into Starbucks, they're going to get their coffee, they're going to go to whatever job they may have with doing whatever they want to do and scroll on their TikTok or their Facebook and not worry about it.
Yeah, I think you're right. So I think it has a lot to do with your environment in which you live and how preoccupied you are with other things other than political point of views, the message you're getting sold by algorithms, and career politicians, and a lot of different influences go into different agendas being pushed for different reasons, whether it's strictly corruption or power, control, money, whatever. I don't think when we talk about assault rifles, which is what basically they said they're banning, which to me, I would think that you're not banning anything because there's no such thing as an assault rifle. Assault is an action. So if I assaulted you with this computer mouse or this TV remote, well, this is an assault TV remote. We need to ban these motherfuckers. They got double A's in them. You know, like, that's basically what it sounds like to me. They're ridiculous as fuck. But there's a whole lot of different things that go into making something like this happen. Especially after we proved assault weapons bans don't work. Clinton did that shit, and it didn't work. That's why when it hit the time limit, they didn't vote it back in. They didn't extend it. They didn't create a new one because they don't work, and we have the numbers to back them up. This was back before everything was political, and we changed numbers, and the FBI was in the pocket of the Democrats, and like all the shit, whatever conspiracy theories you could go at. And I really believe that shit. But like, we have the data to show that these bans don't work, right? And then especially now, like, okay, you're going to ban assault weapons or sporting rifles whenever there's probably more sporting rifles. There's definitely more guns than we have citizens in this country, but there's probably more sporting rifles than citizens that you govern, you know what I mean, in the country. And just because you say something in your state, if I was a citizen in your state, I mean, I just drive over there and get one and come back, right? Maybe I'd be risking something, like if I got caught. But like still, like you can't ban something when they're so prevalent. You know what I mean? That's like me going in my front yard, be like, I'm banning weeds. I could kill them all, you know, but the wind blows and blows seeds over here, they're going to come back. Like it's just, It just seems like such nonsense. And I think now I'm starting to talk like nonsense.
It sounds good and get some votes.
Yeah,
which
but
is
it's
his
just
long-term goal.
it's not real. It's not. What you're banning isn't real, and then your way of going about it is ineffective.
To the people he talks to, it's real. Somebody on that. There's no way that he has all the money he has, and the people, the analysts, and all the people he has that don't know the truth about these things. But their job is not to say the truth. Their job is to push what they think is going to get him voted.
Yeah, you're right.
What's going to win him more money and keep their job safe and get him more votes, which keeps him in power more to further his career for more and more and more. Because they all want to keep everyone's. If you have any kind of work ethic or any kind of strive or drive, you're going to get into a career and want to push further and further and further.
You're right. We're not dealing with facts and truth and reality. We're dealing with politics.
Yeah, I mean, it's politics, which there's very little truth in politics. There's two sides of every story, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. There's things that I'm sure, opinions and views that we have that we don't see the other side of it. We think the way we think, and that's it. That we're probably wrong about, or we may not know the whole truth. You're not going to think you're wrong because you think what you think.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to admit that there's a bunch of it that think that I'm right about, because I think I'm right about everything. That's why I think I'm right.
Yeah.
But there's things that we could learn more information about, or that if we wanted to, we could get more information or learn more about, and maybe change our opinion or understand why we think the way we think. But we're not going to, because we don't care. It's the same way they don't care. They've been groomed and raised and told, this is what you need to think. These are the most dangerous things. This is why crime is so bad. And if we were to get rid of these weapons, then crime was going to go away. Well, that's not true.
Okay, I see what you're saying, and I agree. We fall into different camps, right? And then if you're surrounded with people you agree, like me and you are on the same page, right? We came from the same background. We live in the same region. We were raised a certain way. We think a certain way. And they are probably just the quite opposite of that. And that's why they think and do things the way that they do. And I see that. It makes sense. But at the same time, I don't just think I'm right because it's my opinion. I ask why, and I research it, and I look it up. If I hear something that challenges my opinion, well, I want to know more about it. Like, I'm open-minded. They say they're open-minded, and they're accepting and tolerant and all that. But I look at, that's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Because especially when we both agree that these people probably don't own these style weapons, right?
Just this
so
topic.
They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And this topic, right? Yeah.
Just this one, sure.
Sure. Maybe there's some things I don't know about, like the gays or abortion or something that I don't have any experience with, because I've never had an abortion and I've never been gay.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty damn sure.
Okay.
And we can ask Anna.
All right.
She's a subject matter expert. And anyway, so whenever they come out and they say terminology like that and they support these ideas and agendas, and I'm like, I know that I'm right because I do have experience in it. You know, like we've both spent some time in the military, and we know the difference between weapons of war, no such thing as assault weapons, and civilian rifles you can purchase from a gun store. We've both done that. I don't think these people have, right? They grew up and live probably their entire lives in Washington, the West Coast, right up over there with California, and a bunch of other people that think the way they think, in probably these major cities. And they, like the tech companies, show them exactly what they want to see and reconfirm their biases and like the whole thing. But I know that they're wrong, right? Because I've looked it up myself, and I've questioned myself, and I've asked, like, well, if we did pass this, if there were no guns, how can there be gun violence? Well, there's no such thing as gun violence. There's human violence, because guns just sit there and look badass. They don't hurt. They don't have any will. They don't hurt nobody. They have no capacity to want to murder. They don't do anything on their own. If I never touch them motherfuckers, they will stay there until this house rots and they fall, right? Just like this table, this shitty ass table. If you never move this thing, this table won't move, right? Until it rots and just crumbles into dirt. Just like a dead tree outside. Mm-hmm. So that's why I know they're wrong, because everything they're talking about is coming from their imaginations, and they're feeding off each other's imaginations. It's fairy tale. It's all fake and lies and misinformation. And like all the things that they complain about is exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, but you're never going to convince them of that. That's their opinion, their view, and their
people are nowadays are so entitled to their own opinion that they think they're right that they're never going to view it any other way.
Yeah, their truth.
Sure.
Not the truth, their
Their
truth.
Right.
Which is, they're bending reality. Honestly, if I had to make a general statement about lefties, is that they create their own reality. They don't live in reality. Everything about
but
what they say is pretend.
Since they've been born, they've been allowed to do these things. If when we were kids, if Dad would have said, "You're not going to do that," this is the truth. Here's what's going to happen. That's what it was. So, since they've been born, they've been either allowed to do whatever it may be, or think whatever they may want to think, or never told the truth about something. Then they're going to, whatever they learn, however you learn about something, is what you're going to think.
Yeah.
Whatever the first thing that's taught to you, or the first thing you see, or whatever school you're in, and they teach you. I mean, a kid's very impressionable. So same thing with our kids. Like my Caroline knows what a gun is. Is she scared of one? No, she has no fear of one. She has no reason to fear one. She's never been told to fear it.
It's no different than a steak knife in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
I agree.
There's no fear being taught, so they have no reason to fear it. Now, it may be loud. They may fear the noise from it. But eventually, when they learn why it makes that noise and what it does, and there's no reason to fear that noise, and it's no big problem. Not saying that I'd give every little kid a weapon and say, "Here, go play with it," because it's not a toy.
No.
A weapon is
a weapon.
A weapon. It has means. It's a purpose. It's meant to do something.
I also want to give them the keys to my truck.
Exactly. I wouldn't give them a steak knife, as you said.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give them a lot of things because they're kids. They need to be taught the proper way to deal with things and handle stuff. Whereas a lot of kids nowadays aren't. And maybe they aren't taught anything. Maybe you look at parents, which is our age, maybe a little younger than us at this point, who haven't taught the child what to know. Maybe because they weren't. I mean, eventually, somewhere in the line, somebody's got to be blamed for it. And that's why I think I go back to hard times created strong people created weak times or easy times. And now has weak people. We had really tough times. The country had to go through some bad times, go through bad crap. World wars, awful times created strong people, did real things. And then they didn't have that problem anymore. It was easy. We just coasted through life. We're like, whatever, we're world powers. We own everything. Screw with us. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to mess with us.
Yeah, it's nice being on top.
Right. Which meant we didn't have to fight for anything. There was no strive. There was no push. There was no reason to learn those things.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Life.
You're right. We're dealing with the price of prosperity.
Yeah.
When our biggest problem is trying to figure out if that person over there is a man or a woman. Like your life's pretty fucking good. We're not worried about I don't know how I'm gonna feed my family. What if they invade us tomorrow?
Right.
What happens when that gang comes and burns my neighborhood or kills everybody? Or what happens when this famine comes or this drought? No matter what happens with politicians, our life relatively stays the same. We all live a pretty fancy lifestyle. If you go back 100 years from now, we live significantly better than any of the most powerful people in the world 100 years ago.
100 years.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah, frick.
Sure, probably 30. I mean, I don't know.
I'm 30. Come on, I mean, it is easier, but chill out.
I mean, honestly, though, whoever was a billionaire 30 years ago, do you know how many, neither one of us are millionaires, right?
Nah, you don't know that. I could be.
Hell, man, help a brother out.
Well, if I would, maybe. We'll see.
All right, neither one of us are millionaires. We're normal, everyday American citizens. But, how many cell phones have you had in the last 5-10 years? How many TVs do you own? How many new cars have you driven? Your normal, how many times do you go out to eat per month? Your normal everyday life is so nice. You're living like a very wealthy person from 30 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I remember what our parents were like whenever I was real young, how we were growing up. And I didn't know their finances and I didn't understand the word finance when I was a child, but I kind of saw things in our other family members, right? Our aunts and uncles and our grandparents and people we saw at church and their friends or neighbors or anyone, everyone that I realized, I could tell, okay, they're rich because their house is a lot bigger than our house. Or they're rich because their cars are a lot newer. Or whatever I could comprehend as a child. Even those people, they weren't living any better than we're living right now. You know what I mean?
No. When our parents were our age, they didn't have the things we have now. Times have been created easier.
Yeah.
And It's just the way, I guess, the cycle of life goes, and eventually something bad will happen. We'll go through hard times, and it'll create strong. Like,
Yeah.
it's a cycle. It's a vicious cycle of everything. Just like people fear guns because all they've ever known their entire life is to wake up, get their coffee, go to school, do what they got to do, play on their phone, scroll their Instagram, scroll their TikTok. They've never known anything different. They've never had to struggle for things. They never had to work for things. They never woke up and said, "Man, what am I going to have to do?" Not saying everybody's like that way. There's lots of folks that are that way, but most of these people this way don't. They just know that they're in fear because somewhere, some crazy person who probably needed some mental health help showed up with a gun and started shooting people because he had a rough day or whatever reason he may have had. So that now they know that their normal life was normal everyday life. This people was interrupted by a bad person, and that bad person used this. So now they're scared of that because if that wasn't there, he could have done that. Well, he just used something else.
Yeah.
But that logic isn't pushed. It's guns are bad.
You're absolutely right. But I just thought of something. If you look at this image, where's the diversity, man?
Oh, they're over here.
They didn't put him in the camera?
No, well, he zoomed in. When he was signing it, there was a couple kids. One of them still had a mask on, which she was.
Oh, you're right. I think they were Asian kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to the topic today. Let's see what this crazy dude has to say. Actually, you can pause it at any time, and you can look up anything, whatever you need to do.
Reason other than mass murder. Their only purpose is to kill humans as rapidly as possible in large numbers. And I will say this, AR-15s should not be idolized, they should be prohibited, and that's what we're doing today. On the sale, distribution, and marketing of their products.
Okay, I think he's about to go into more details about his stupid bill here. So, do you agree with old white Democrat dude that there's no other purpose to an AR-15 other than mass murder?
No. That's stupid.
Like, what could you possibly use an AR-15 for besides mass murder?
Anything. Literally anything. I use that's so stupid. That's his opinion. That's what he uses, again, to get freaking votes. He sounds good giving that speech because he knows that his followers or his people are terrified of him and that they have been used for those things. It doesn't mean just because you use something for, I can use this as a hammer. It doesn't mean it was built to be a hammer.
Yeah, all right. Keep going, but I'm glad you said that. Let me do some stuff here. Do you have any other thing to say on that?
Yeah.
Or you say anything. Like, I have this really high shelf in my closet that I can't really reach. Yeah. So I get my AR-15 to get that box down.
You knock it down.
And then when I'm trying to prop open the door, but like it keeps on shutting on its own because my hinges situation's weird, I use it to prop the door open so it don't close on me. Like,
I've used it as a pillow before. I've slept on one before.
I've definitely cuddled.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's been a lot of long nights I've cuddled one, but that was a weapon of war because we were in the military.
No,
anyway.
It's just a piece of metal you're cuddling. Like, anything can be used as anything. It doesn't mean it was designed to do that. The people who created this weren't like, man, you know what I'm thinking? I need to create something that's just going to be used to just kill everybody. Like, I want to make this to just kill everyone. It's not how it was designed to do. And you can use, oh hell, I know this is going to go. The fact that, and people understand the caliber differences. I mean, we have ARs we hunt with to provide food for our families. They would call it an AR and think it's a weapon of mass destruction, but it's not. It's meant for hunting. I use it to hunt with. It's a weapon I would go grab to go deer hunt or hog hunt or whatever animal I want to go kill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, the people who created, even if you want to go back to say, okay, that weapon, Colt made the weapon for the military to go to war with. It was made so it would be lighter. You can carry more rounds. And the thought process behind that round and weapon was that if I shoot you, odds not going to kill you, not with that round because it's so small and fast. I'm going to hurt you. Which in most logical people would think, okay, if I hurt you, it takes 2 grown men to take you out. So now I've taken 3 people out of the fight. I didn't kill you. Take 3 people out of the fight.
Yeah, so it's literally designed to hurt people, not kill them.
Yeah, which that's I guess, a different way to look at it. But
strategic battlefield type of tool.
Yeah, even though the people we're fighting don't think that way. They just step on each other and go keep going. But
well, in the past 20 years, yeah. When we're talking about peer-to-peer, though, I think that mentality does kind of work, right?
So even the people who created that, even if you want to say, well, it was only designed because the M1 Garand was too heavy or the carbine was too much or whatever, they wanted to create something new. They didn't even create it thinking I'm creating something that's going to kill everybody. That wasn't even their thought when they made it for the military or when it was designed, which I don't know.
Yeah, because if you wanted to kill everybody, you should have stuck within $1,000. that was definitely a soul taker. But
drop another nuke on them.
And that's not even the same thing as AR-15, because there's multiple versions of the M16, which led to multiple versions of the M4, and both of them had different options, whether a 3-round burst or full auto, but also selective fire to be semi-automatic. But your normal AR-15 that you buy from a gun shop or a sporting goods store or a pawn shop or something like that, or at a gun show, those are all semi-automatic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were to avert it, you're a felon, right? But even when you go look at the shootings that has happened, like I looked up school shootings, most of these are done with handguns, not AR-15s. So when they're arguing about saving the children, if you don't want to ban AR-15 assault rifles, then you don't care about the children. Well, motherfucker, I have children. So you're not about to tell me how much I care about children when you don't know me or my children. So I already don't trust what the fuck's coming out of your mouth. And then you're to tell me that the AR-15s are the problem? Well, the statistics don't show that. So all they're doing is making themselves into being liars. Because I just Googled from 1982 to April, this month, 2023, by number of weapons and incidents. Handguns far outweigh rifles and shotguns. So if anything, we would want to ban handguns. I don't want to ban none of them. But if they were really trying to go after the data and solve a problem, they wouldn't be trying to ban the scary looking weapons of war, mass destruction, assault rifles. They'd be going after handguns.
You just pushed it though. They're not as scary. That doesn't look near as scary as AR does. You can't find pictures of people in uniform running around with their pistol. They don't have long guns. They have rifles. That's what they carry. That's what people who are going into war with are going to carry because it's better at doing that purpose. But they don't look as scary. You can't build them out to be as bad. And I'm sure eventually, if they ever do accomplish banning assault rifles, they're going to go after pistols. They're going to go after shotguns. Their long-term goal would be to, I don't know, if they wanted you to have anything, maybe a musket. Like, hey, you can go hunt with this thing. Hey, they did it before. You can do it now. Like, that's their goal would be to get rid of, in my opinion, is everything. They just start with what they can point out to be the most dangerous thing in their head, or the scariest looking one, or a weapon of war, because in war they carry something that looks like it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I agree. It also sounds like this isn't about saving children's lives or anyone's lives or stopping gang violence or inner city murders or anything that would actually be like a good cause to look into, to try a problem to solve. This is all about what message can we sell, what platform can we stand on, what difference can we say we want to make to get votes, to retain power, gain power, get support. Yeah, it is it's about nothing else but political power.
Yeah.
That's why I think all of this gun control argument is nothing about, it's not about anything else except for political power.
And that goes for every single topic that politicians push for, whether it be trans or homophobia or sexism or whatever other topic you want to push. Most of those people, most of them, they're old as hell, don't give a crap about it. If you'd asked them 30 years ago, they would never even been a thought to it. But they have to do what they have to do to get the vote. Some kid who just got out of their 4-year degree as an analyst and pulls up all these statistics and says, hey, look, this is what you need to put. We wrote you a script. Here's what you need to talk about. Here's what you need to put. Here's what gets you more votes. Here's what gets you in. Because they're going to do that, which gets them a job. So they get more money, which gives the politician a job. And it all goes with money.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to push whatever topic is trending.
Exactly. So it's not about the safety of the public. It's not about serving the people of whatever region you come from, whether you're a governor, a senator, a congressman. Like if you're representing a state or the entire country itself, you're not about trying to help the public, the people. You're not working for the people. You're working for yourself and your own self-interest or your party's interest when it comes to Democrats. And that's why I'm thinking, like, all these people are creating their own false reality, and that bleeds into arguments like gun control and banning assault weapons, which is what this video was about. And I'm not saying I support the Republican Party, because there's some things there's a bunch of different Republicans in the Republican Party, and there's some things I agree and disagree with them on. Right? I think
Politicians.
I agree. But if I had to choose one side or the other, which I do, if I'm going to vote, then if you vote independent, you might as well stay at home. So you got to vote Democrat or Republican. And I haven't found an argument from the left, the Democratic Party, that means anything at all. Like I've looked at abortion, I've looked at the transgender thing, I've looked at a bunch of different issues, even on this show, and I can't find any ground to stand on that would support a positive change or a betterment to the American population that comes from the left. Especially when it comes to banning anything, but even more so, guns. I just think it's bullshit. And like, I just Googled this. They can Google it. I know the motherfuckers got Google.
And I'm sure they do Google things. I'm sure they have statistics that would speak otherwise. I'm sure they would pull up some website or have some expert witness or expert personality come on their show or their talk or their podcast or out on the stage with them and say otherwise and tell you about how bad they are and why they are. I mean, listen to some of them talk in some of these speeches. You see them on the news in front of people. Like,
but this is the first thing that came up. All right, let me go back. The very first thing that came up, how often was an AR-15 used in school shootings? That's what I Googled, and the very first thing. Let's go to the second thing. This is Senate.gov. This is an article. I'm not going to read it. But so happens the first. This is CNN. What we know about guns used in the Nashville school.
Yeah, but it's going to be about ARs.
It's just okay. It's a video.
It's also
anyway. The very first thing, the point I'm trying to make, the very first thing that popped up was this graph, and it was talking about the guns used in weapon types used in mass shootings in the United States between 1982 and April 2023 by a number of weapons and incidents. Like, the information's there.
They don't care to hear it. It doesn't fit their agenda, it doesn't fit their opinions, it doesn't fit their feelings. You can, look up any video of any topic, anybody arguing about it. Go find anyone who thinks differently of you and tell them about how the pronoun argument, you know what I mean? Like, that's their feelings. They're entitled to their feeling. People nowadays are so entitled to feel what they want to feel and think what they want to think, and that their opinion is the proper opinion, that they don't care about any of that.
You think that's why the Republican Party isn't very effective?
Isn't very effective?
Yeah, because I don't think it is. I think the left, which we can associate directly with the Democratic Party, is highly effective. I mean, they got all these social platforms we were talking about, right? And they're pushing all these things that are not grounded in reality or facts. They're pushing these things, and they're getting a huge following. They're actually making changes, and they're actually making laws based on make-believe. So whatever they're doing, they are very effective.
They're effective at pushing their agenda, sure. They're effective because they take the people who think like them and these social media sites. I mean, like, YouTube wouldn't monetize this because there's guns in the picture. Whereas YouTube doesn't give a crap about whatever they don't have any guns, they don't have any threats. They can talk about the she, him, he, they, thems, and doesn't care. Like, they'll push that agenda because that's what's trending right now, because people are going to look for that. So their topic's going to get pushed. So they have the help of social media and those companies making billions and billions of dollars to help push their agenda. TikTok, same thing. Instagram, same thing. Like, they're not hindered by these things because their feelings don't matter, because people like us just say, whatever, dude, we don't care. And it's like you said, the YouTube and the Rumble thing, like, they just go to another one, don't even argue about it. Like, they bitch about it for a little bit and they move on with life. We're not going to harp over the issue. We're not going to go whine and cry and tell everybody how bad our feelings hurt, whereas they're going to. Because if you don't call me, if I want to be called a woman, if I decide I'm a woman now and you don't call me a woman, then you're wrong. And that all these social media just push you, where people like us are like, I don't give a crap what you're called. I don't want to talk to you. I just stay out of my life. I'm not going to come after you where they would come after you. And they have a huge following. And unfortunately, the younger generation now all thinks the same way with them, and they all are good at social media and they all push. Whereas people like us just want to live life. I want to watch what I want to watch on the TV, and I want to go outside and do what I want to do outside. I want to play with my kids. I want to go to work. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. If I'm scrolling through something that pisses me off on Facebook or Instagram, I just scroll past it. Whereas they're not going to. They're going to argue. They want to argue. They want to push because they're entitled to that. They think that they are entitled to make you believe what they want to believe. It doesn't matter that you don't care. It doesn't matter that it's a free country and you're allowed to think whatever you want to think. No, you're wrong. You can't think what you want to think. That's not how this works. You thinking that way hurts my feelings.
Yeah.
And they're going to push that, whereas we don't care enough. That's why I think they're more successful at pushing their agenda. I don't care. I'm not going to argue with you. If I'm not going to go into a room and see something and walk up and be like, hey, what are your pronouns? I'm never going to ask that question. Whereas if I do go somewhere and they tell me, hey, you better call me them, I'm just going to say, I'm not calling you that. I'm not going to refer to you that. And if that's a problem, then I need to leave.
Well, you got a real life. You got a wife and the kids and bills and shit. You got shit to do. You got multiple jobs. Like, you don't have time to worry about make-believe things. And I think their whole platform is they're going off emotions. And everyone's emotional. Like, even me and you, we probably refer to ourselves as logical thinkers, but we still have emotions. And all their arguments are based off emotions. And they make up things. They make up their own reality. They make up these lies. And they push these agendas based off the power of human emotion. And they're basically gaining ground and being highly successful because they're using human behavior.
They're told they're entitled to feel that way. They make teachers in schools call them this. They tell them it's okay to be called that. They tell them it's okay to act this way, to do these things, to speak that way, to be referred to as those things. If we had ever went to Dad and been like, Dad, I don't want you to call me they. Like, my pronouns are they, them. Dad would have smacked us upside the head and said, you're ridiculous. And not because of Dad's opinion, but because, hey, son, the world's not fair. You don't get to decide that. You can't decide what you want. You have to go out in the world and make what you want, do what you want to do, be what you want to be. I can't, people call me Tyler and Tucker and all these crazy ass names. When I cry about it? No, you should just roll with the punches. It is what it is. I don't care. Why get upset about that? Whereas if somebody called me like, hey girl, what's up? I'm like, you're an idiot, whatever, and roll with life. Whereas if I don't call someone by their pronoun now, they're entitled, they've been shown, they've been taught that they're allowed to get upset about that. That's their agenda, that's their right to have those feelings or be upset about that. I don't care what you want to be called. I don't care what you want to do. I can't tell you how to raise your children, so you can't tell me how to raise my kids. So just like the story of when Dad was spanking one of us in Walmart and some lady told him, you can't do that. Hush up or you'll be next. Like,
come on, bitch, try me.
He wasn't abusing us. We weren't hurting. Like, we had done wrong. We had repercussions for our actions. That's why the world, we are, I think, in my opinion, better suited to conquer the world and have problems and overcome those issues. Whereas now, they aren't. Kids are allowed to do what they want to do and think what they want to think. And instead of having to deal with the problem or overcome the issue, they're sheltered. They're protected. Hey, it's okay. Come back. No, don't worry. They're wrong. They should never. If you want to be called a her, they should call you. No, because you're not one. And it's not anyone's opinion. It's a fact. Like, you were born a male or a female. If you want to go to science or the Bible or whatever, we done got off of damn guns. But you know what I mean? Like
tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, like, you're born a certain way. If you are called that, or you want to tell your friends to call me that, then that's between you and your friends and whatever the person wants to call you that. But you can't force someone else to call you those things. If you are scared of a gun, then you choose not to be around a gun. But you can't tell someone that shooting ranges are bad or that assault rifles are bad. You don't like them. You don't have to like them. No one makes you like them. I'm not going to force my weapon down your throat. I'm not walking on the street with my AR shoving it down your throat saying, look how cool this thing is. This is the coolest thing ever. I can't believe. No, I don't care. My gun's my gun. I'll do what I want to do with my gun. It's my right. It's your right not to like it. I don't give a crap. People go to war to give you that right and fight for our freedoms to think what you want to think and feel what you want to feel and act how you want to act. And unfortunately, instead of that being just them and going to find a group of the people that think like they do, they want to push that agenda on everyone.
Yep.
You have to feel the way that I feel, because if you don't, you're wrong. That's not true.
Yep.
It's not how life works.
I totally agree with you. And what bothers me is that they're so fucking successful at it. And the problem comes from the fact that because they don't live in reality and they're so successful at making change, that they're coming after the things that I care about, the things that I want to preserve as far as being an American citizen. And if they can do it in Washington, why can't they do it where we live? You know what I mean?
Eventually they're going to try to.
Oh, I agree. And, that's where my problem is. And that's why I talk about this shit. And that's why I want to point out the fact that they're all fucking idiots. And everything they say doesn't make any sense. And they're just making it up. And it's full of shit. Because eventually they're going to try and take away my personal property or my freedoms that I think are protected by the Second Amendment and the Constitution itself, and they're going to affect my life. So I can say, hey, you want to go dress up and be a furry? You want to go and fuck the same sex? You want to go and call yourselves different things and dye your hair, and you want to do all this crazy shit that don't make any sense? I don't give a shit. Live your life, bro. Freedom. Until they get so powerful and so successful and so corrupt that you wake up one morning and it's just like, what happened to America?
That happened. We didn't care. They haven't pushed the masses enough to where we're going to fight back. It's getting to that point, I think. But we have just not cared enough to fight or battle or do anything about it or go against them. We just didn't care. Go live your life. I don't give a crap. I'm not going to go where you are. I'm like, you don't ever want to go to San Francisco because San Francisco or New York, the big cities aren't things you agree with. You don't like them. The people in there don't have the same opinions. You're just not going to go. Same reason people from that city probably aren't going to come to little towns we're from or out in the country. They're not going to want to go there. Look at freaking Yellowstone. Yellowstone to go to the Dutton Ranch was like, I don't know, $100 a night or some crap. It was super cheap. Now it's a couple $1,000s a night because of Yellowstone. So until a TV show comes out or until something pushes them or shows them that it's going to be a cool thing, they're never going to. They have no reason to. They don't want to. But we have allowed them to do what they want, think what they think, push their opinions, and do whatever they want to do because we just go away from them for so long now that they're just pushing. Give them an inch to take a mile. Yeah. They're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing until they're finally stopped. And it's going to take a lot to stop them. You've now created such a big monster that it's going to take a lot to stop that monster. It's going to take a lot to fight back. That battle is going to be a big one.
You're right. I think the only way I can think of doing it is what we're doing right here. We're just talking about it, bringing the light, putting it out there for people to make up their own minds, not to be told what to think. So you're participating in the fight for what you believe in.
With the rebellion.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we don't actually have any real power. You know, we get the same vote everybody else does come November 2024. But we still have a voice and a freedom of speech as of right now. So whether we can affect major change or not, we can definitely have a drink about it. And I'm almost done, which is a much bigger problem than whatever's going on in Washington. So I think let's jump off of this, and I just bonus topic style question for you.
All right.
Let's just say something happened. Asteroid hit the planet, or there was some type of like China and Russia ganged up and invaded America, or there was like a volcano that went off and society just fell. We don't have electricity because there was nobody to go to electricity company and, you know, make that shit work. Nobody at the cell phone company. Cell phone towers are down because they need electricity to run. Where you can't go to the gas station and get gas. Like, there's nobody in the grocery store. That's been ransacked. Like, society has fallen, and you get 2 guns. Only 2. But I mean, I don't care if you own them or not. I don't care how expensive they are. Any 2 guns that exist today, and that's the only 2 guns you get. Since this is a gun show, this episode, what are they?
Does it matter the round type or like one gun, one round type? Like a shotgun with birdshot and slug and double-aught buck, or is it like, hey, you get a shotgun with this round, you get this weapon with this round?
As of right now, you know the situation that you have to survive in. If it exists, it could be yours.
I want a 22 mag and probably a 12 or a 20 gauge.
Okay, interesting. I wasn't expecting that, but why?
22 mag I can kill pretty much any kind of small animal with, to a small person with.
You shooting kids, bro?
22 mag. I mean, anything. People, animals, hog, deer. 22 mag I can kill anything with.
Fucking gator.
They're light. Get a bunch of rounds. Probably not difficult to find. I could carry a ton of rounds, and it's not that heavy. Distance-wise for hunting, I mean, 100, 150 yards, I'm still able to shoot hog, deer, rabbit, coon, squirrel, gator, anything. I'm killing with 22 mag.
If you got a semi, I would even go and try for bigger game too, just multiple shots.
Yeah, I was saying, like a deer. You could shoot a deer with a 22 mag and kill it. Like hog all day long. Like that's what people would go hog hunting.
Headshots too.
Right, you shoot an eye or the ear hole. Like 22 mags for like hog hunting, boar hunting. They shoot in the eye or their ear hole because you try to don't. Obviously, the distance wise, you need to go for something that's soft tissue to get into.
I will say, for the AR-15, typically when people say AR-15 is chambered in 5.56 or 223 Remington, and I have, with a 3x9 scope at about 50 yards, shot a big old sow in the head with a 223, and I could never find it. That thing ran off.
I mean, stuff happens. I mean, I've shot bigger animals with bigger rounds, and stuff still goes. I mean, animals don't have the thought process we do, however you want to describe it. Like they're not thinking, oh my god, I'm in pain. Let me sit here and sulk in my pain.
They're way tougher than us.
Yeah, they're just gonna run. They don't care. They want away.
But if you shot me in my pinky toe
I'm
with a 22, I'm gonna be like, oh fuck, dude. Oh my god, call the people. I'm done.
Exactly. Like I'm not gonna. I mean, obviously, live or death, like life or death. I'm gonna keep fighting you. But if you shoot me and my guts are hanging out, like I'm done. Whereas the animal's just going to run away. Like it's going to run until it can't run, so it physically can't do whatever it wants to do. I mean, the first deer I shot, I broke its back. It tried to stand up and walk away. It literally stood up, crawled behind a cactus, like its spine was broke. Whereas you break one of our spines, we're done, bro. You're not crawling away. You're going to lay there and die.
Yeah, I did that once with a hog.
Which sucks. Feel bad for it.
Yeah, when I was using an AR chambered in 72x39, which is normally like in a AK round, but I think if you put the 72x39 in an AR platform, is the ultimate hunter for normal medium game in the United States. And maybe I shouldn't put this out on the internet, but it was completely 100% legal. I shot this hog. I shot like 3 hogs at once. And this one, I was a little too quick and got a little too low of a shot, and I hit it in the stomach. And
yeah, you told me the story.
And it was dragging probably about 10 to 12 feet of its intestines behind it. And I was able to run up to it and shoot it again at point blank in the head and put it out of its misery. But that thing was so tough. Dude, if you shot me and I got my guts hanging out, I'm not running.
No, you're done.
I'm like, please shoot my ass, bro. Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
That things are so tough.
Well, animals, like I said, don't have the thought process or the ability to think like we do. But
right, and I'm talking about an AR with a 30 caliber round, which in the distance that I was hunting, 100 yards and within, so much more effective than your typical round. Like even the 5.56 that the military uses. Like, so ARs aren't this thing that's like just ultimate mass destruction. Like, that's the stupidest fucking shit ever if you know anything about ballistics and kinetic energy and calibers and velocity or anything to do with guns. If you have any idea what you're talking about, you know that the AR really isn't that powerful.
Right.
It was never designed to be.
Right.
Anyway, so 22 mag and 12 or 20 gauge is what you're going with. Just basically because versatility and the weight and amount of rounds you can carry.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
A slug gun.
Yeah.
Shoot a slug to 20 gauge, double out buck, bird shot. I'm killing any kind of animal. Me or whoever with me. There's no, maybe not a toddler, but a young kid can shoot either one of those weapons with
22 mag. Hell yeah.
Taught how to shoot and can kill with. Same thing. Wife can take either one of those weapons and kill with whatever animal we're hunting with. So we can have multiple hunters at one time. Also, if I put a 20 gauge or a 12 gauge slug through you, it's going to kill you. If I stop whatever threat I have, put a 20 gauge slug through or anything. I mean, it's not like a moose.
Yeah.
Like I up the ability. I can hunt anything.
Everything that walks the earth.
Yep. And stop whatever threat I need to stop. I'm not going, because at that point I'm not going to look for a fight. I'm going to do my best to get away from a fight. But if I get into a fight, I have the ability to, I think with those weapons, fight enough to get myself away from the threat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or eliminate it.
Yeah. Defend myself or give myself enough time to get away. But the bigger problem is I'm not going to look for problems. So the biggest issue I have is feeding. Eat. I have to be able to eat and have water to survive. Maybe different if I'm not going to go live in a city. A city, obviously, bigger city, higher population. I'm staying away from all that. I want to go in the woods where there's less people, so I have less problems. So I'm not looking to carry an AR with a bunch of rounds or any of that. I don't need it. I'm not trying to go have a gunfight with someone.
Yeah.
I'm trying to survive and eat.
No, you're right. You can literally hunt any and all game.
Yep.
And you can effectively defend yourself.
Yep.
That's pretty good choices. I'll go more of a tactical route, and I think I am going to go with the AR platform. and it would probably be in 7.62 by 39. I do have a lot of experience with it, and I really like it, and I understand my holdovers at different distances, and where it's effective and where it isn't, and I can hunt all medium-sized game, which maybe if I was a northerner and there was moose and bear and elk and stuff like that around, then maybe I'd change my opinions. But at least in the South where we're from, I feel like that round and that platform, I can be highly effective at hunting medium-style game and against two-legged predators to defend myself. And then my sidearm, I'd probably want just a normal 22 long rifle. Maybe like a Ruger 22 or something real light and small and easy that I could take birds, squirrels, rabbits, like any small things that could produce meat that I don't have to use any of my more valuable rifle ammunition for. But still, if someone was coming, if you have a Ruger 1022 with an extended mag, not the little rotary box it comes with, a 10 rounder, but like a 25 round mag and a Ruger 22, it's so easy. You could run with that thing just as effectively as you could without holding anything, and you could fire accurately because there's practically no recoil really fast. So I think if there was somebody coming after me or multiple people coming after me, I could put 5 or 6 rounds in their freaking body. That's going to at least stop them from pursuing me, if not kill them. And so I could defend myself with a 22 long rifle, but more likely I can carry hundreds of rounds for the same weight of anything else. So kind of like your idea with the 22 mag.
I went up a little bit to give myself the ability to hunt a little bigger. The 22 long rifle, 22 mag. You know what I mean? Like I can.
Yeah. The thing I like about the AR platform and that 30 cal round is if I place one half decent shot on a large game or a two-legged predator, then it's going to be very effective, right? And a much further range than I would say a 12 or a 20.
Says who? What's your distance shot with a 7.62 by 39 AR?
I would say 200 out to 200 yards. I'm confident.
All right, so I got a $150, $175 with a slug gun.
Yeah, maybe so. But my follow-up shots are going to be a little faster. My reloads are going to be a lot faster. I'm more accurate than any slug. I don't care if you're using Sabots. I don't care if you have like a rifled slug out of a smoothbore. Like, that's just what I'm used to because I've hunted deer and hogs and stuff with it.
And I like it. I also think if I got 200 yards of woods between you and I'm probably not going to set up to fight you.
Watch this. You can't see me.
Exactly. Like I'm gonna do my best to use that to get the threat away from me or to make distance or to better prepare myself to battle you. I'm also not staying in the South because fuck this place.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? I'm going north. We're hoofing it. Let's go because the summers here sucked. Like I'm going somewhere middle of the country.
Die from mosquitoes and ticks.
I'm going middle of the country because I want wood still, but I want 4 seasons. I don't want stupid cold all winter long, all forever, but I don't want 100 degrees for 8 months out of the year either.
Yeah, I think.
So and we have blackberry down here now, easy. So further north you go, I think the bigger the animal could get. Which nothing says you can't kill a bear with a 7.62. I mean, you get a good shot close enough, absolutely.
Dude, hell yeah.
You also have the ability to shoot. I mean, a slug gun's probably a crack barrel. I don't know if I'd pick that. I'd probably pick like a pump or a semi-automatic.
Yeah, if I was going 12 or 20, I'd want a pump.
Yeah.
Just because, and maybe just my lack of experience with semis, and it depends on which type of semis. It definitely wouldn't be a mag-fed semi. But,
no,
man, it's hard to go wrong with a pump, especially in an environment where I'm not sure how many times I'm going to drop it in the dirt and the mud, or it's going to get rained on, or like whatever. Like that pump, it's hard to fuck that up. It's just going to be effective.
I feel like between those two guns, there's nothing I can't kill.
Absolutely.
Especially if I'm able to carry whatever kind of shells I want. Like, I could... Is that a wasp? That's a wasp in your house.
God damn. We're being invaded. Oh shit, it's coming at me. I got headphones on.
You about to freeze up. I can't tell if it's a dirt dove or a wasp. This is going to be a hell of an episode. He's on your light over here now. He's a wasp. He's red. He's on top of that light.
All right, you ready to call? ready to wrap this shit up, dude?
Go to war. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that was a really good conversation, and now we got to go get that AR and take care of this wasp.
Yep.
I don't even know where he went.
He's on top of that light. He hadn't left.
All right, I do got this spray.
You can't spray in here though.
All right,
your stuff now. You got to kill it with a hat.
all right, we both got hats. Ready to go to war?
Yeah, have to.
We've been invaded.
Yeah, it happens, man. To the best of us, you know.
Okay, well, hey, not yet,
Oh.
not yet. All right, hey, if you like the show, if you want to support us, clearly our opinions are not popular. We're definitely going to be demonetized, and if anyone ever does watch this and we create some following, again, this is only our 5th episode, then go ahead, rebelshirts.com. We're always coming out with some new shirt designs, and it helps support the show. And like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell so you know we're coming out with new episodes, which is basically every Monday of every week. And I gotta go kill this wasp. But thank you, Turner, for
Hey, man.
for being a new face on the show. Hopefully you can come back and we can do a different topic. And I like your ideas, like your opinions, like where you stand on things. And
I'm sitting on this chair, and I can stand on it if you want me to, though.
thanks for watching. All right, we'll see you guys later.